Hey friend, Terry Greer. I'm here in my office in Cedar Park, and I want to talk today about day one, about relapsing and restarting your day one. I want to help you quit drinking alcohol and obtain your sobriety. There's no labels here, there's no judgment, there's no AA. It's just me and my office in Cedar Park wanting to help you. So today, let's talk about relapse. You might have relapsed after starting and stopping. Well, first, know that you're not alone in this. For me, it took me 2 years from the time I decided, hey, I want some of this sober thing I'm seeing in people in my life. And I had to fight for it, and I struggled for it. Where I sit now, 4 years later, I know more and have more knowledge where I probably could have done it sooner than 2 years, right? But that's the way it is. You have to want it, and you have to continue to go after it. I read somewhere that for most people who fight with addiction, whether it's cigarettes or alcohol, things like that, there's somewhere between 6 and 9 times that they have to relapse or they have to start again, right? So let's start by not beating yourself up. You might be beating yourself up because you knew that you were going to do it, like you premeditated. It wasn't a slip up or something like that you really wanted to. And even in that case, it's okay. It's okay because now you're here and you want to start again. And that's the most important thing. And let's just get counting the days out of the way, right? Counting is a blessing and a curse. It helps at the beginning because it gives you something to check off a list and to move forward. And at some point you're going to drift so far in your journey that you're not even going to remember to check off the list. Sobriety will become easier for you. It'll become part of your identity, where the counting of the days will not mean that much to you. I count my years just because it's sort of just done in the community. People are like, "Oh, how long have you been sober?" 4 years, 5 years. It's just the way it is. But it doesn't. I don't hang on the everyday anymore. I just don't. And I want to help you hopefully get to that place. So congratulations on holding on. Even though you relapsed, you're here and you're ready to get going again, right? So stop beating yourself up. Number 2, you've got to forgive yourself. You've got to forgive yourself and just let it go. You got to let it go, and so we can move forward, right? And I also want to say, if you started your journal yet, you need a sobriety journal, right? I love these Bear and Fig books, but you can use any old journal sheet of paper that you can get your hands on. And you need to start journaling of how you feel so that you can get an understanding of things that repeat. For me, I was repeating a lot of behaviors, and I thought that they were brand new. But when you write things down, you're able to face it, and you're able to see that, no, I saw this, I've done this before, and this is what I thought. So you can see it coming. You can see it coming before it hits you, right? So those are just some things. Now next, I want to put in your mind, this is something critical I learned from Holly Whitaker, who's just a badass. She taught me through her work that the goal is not perfection. Right? When you first start in this journey, it's not like, oh, I'm not drinking. Yes, not drinking is sort of the goal, right? You don't want to drink alcohol, but it's not you have to do the work, right? And the goal is the goal, instead of perfection, is to build skills, is to look at your habits, look at your routines, craft those. Use someone like Atomic Habits, James Clear, to sort of overlay that over your habit of alcohol and see how you can change the cue and the reward cycle, the cycle of addiction, basically, right? All of those things you need to get in tune and build those skills, so it's just not you sitting in a room staring at a bottle of wine or whatever, thinking you can't hold it together, because you can. You're stronger than you think. I guarantee you're stronger than you think if you address things like strengthening yourself through the skills and the desire, so that you can break this cycle of addiction. For many, relapse is just part of the process. I just want to reiterate that, right? It takes time. There are some people, though, drop it. There are some people actually that I've met, very few, but they're out there, who actually moderate, who don't really care one way or the other about alcohol. And they will maybe have a glass of wine at Christmas. I think about it as for them fitting in, or just someone pours the wine. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have a glass of wine, and they sip on it for an hour, right? Those people exist. If you're one of those people, then congratulations, or if you're one of the people that was able to just leave alcohol behind, that's awesome. This video is probably not that helpful or even addressed to you, frankly. But if you are struggling, and the whole point of this is a relapse video, right? You got to know that this is the work. This is the process. Like, don't give up with this. Let's begin again, right? There's that voice in your head that wants you to drink, that tells you things like, hey, it's just one drink. You can handle this. You've had a week. You should reward yourself. Oh, are you really not going to drink at that wedding that's coming up? I mean, isn't that going to make you feel weird? All of that, that little voice in your head, I call it the beast that lives in me, right? Stephen Pressfield calls it the resistance, the lizard brain, whatever you want to call it. But there is something there that it will lie to you, right? It will lie to you because it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to change. But you have the power to change. I know you do. So let's move on. The last thing is, the secret is, and I want to put up a little overlay here. The secret is never give up, never give up, never give up. You keep quitting, you keep starting again until you quit for good, right? You keep quitting, and you shorten the time. It might start out as a relapse, and then you start, and it takes you 30 days before you start again. And then you relapse again, and it takes you 10 days now before you start again. And then the next time you relapse and you start again the next day, you're like, tomorrow I'm going to start. And I would encourage you that if you can push it to you relapse, that you forgive, you recommit, and you start that very day. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't go on a bender. Start right then. My last drink, I had been sober for 9 months, and it was right around 9 months. And I cut the grass, and I had a couple of beers that were just sitting in the fridge from 9 months ago, maybe even older. And I was like, it was a hot day, and I was like, I deserve that beer. I don't even think it's that big of a deal. And I took a sip of that beer, and I didn't even finish the beer because I felt, is exactly how I felt. I was like, whatever I thought I wanted, or I thought that beer was going to give me, it gave me nothing. There wasn't whatever I was looking for wasn't there. And I just realized how much I value my sobriety over that beer. And I've been through the path enough to know that if I had that beer, that it wouldn't really send me on a bender for the next week. But within probably a week to 2 weeks, I'd be right back where I was. And I felt like I'd be stuck in the mud again, right? Just doing the same thing over and over again. And I stopped right then and there, and that was it. And then here I am 4 years later. So just want to give you a word of encouragement. If you're on this journey, what I would love for you to do is to find me, right? I'm starting, I have an email list at terrygreer.substack.com. Put your email address in. You'll get an email from me, right? Just a welcome email. Hit reply. It'll come to my email. I will reply to you. I'd love to hear your story, or that, even if it's as simple as today's my day one. Today's my day one. If you send me that, I would love to hear from you. It would mean the world to me. Wishing you the best. Stay in the fight. Stay in the fight. You're worth it.